Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Happy Thursday, and we have some more events, of course, here in the game. And if you're like me and have not been keeping totally 100% on top of everything, I got you covered, because in today's video, I want to talk about the Raya's Madness tournament and how fast you can get this done by using a little bit of a trick that not everyone might know, because we don't get event dungeons that frequently. But I want to share an easy way to get through this, and not only the event dungeon tournaments, but also gear hunters, which I know, yeah, for many who might have already cleared some of this. However, I have not. Still need to work my way through this, and if I don't want to spend more shards on summoning events, then I need to make sure I get all the fragments as possible in these events. We also have champion training that's going to be starting on later on today, and of course tomorrow we have a champion chase. So the final summoning event, because Summon Rush will be ending, we have the final champion chase with some bonuses there that I want to talk about that as well. Now, before we get started with the rest of the video, though, I do want to remind people that oh, that was the wrong one. If you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Grand Oak Padrag absolutely free at the start of your journey with Zargala, Tagor, and Farrakhan the Fat at level 10, 20, and 30. And don't forget about Pelops the Victor. He's the legendary Argonite Fusion champion from March, from the anniversary, and all you got to do is use the promo code RAID7 within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, first off, though, what I do want to talk about is I want to talk about tomorrow's champion chase. So we do have double ancient shard drops, which is what a lot of us thought. And I tend to notice this when my ancient shard numbers tend to get above 100, right? And I'm like, yeah, we haven't had one for a while. So yeah, this is happening tomorrow. And what's interesting is it's double epics. Sorry, 2 times chance for epics and legendary champions for ancient shards. But not only that, they are also going to be launching a progressive chance of 15x to summon one of the 2 legendary new characters from this event. We have Varkos Head Splitter and Telena Solseer. Now, I think that we've actually talked about Telena Solseer previously, because she was in the Prism Soulstone. And I will be pulling that tomorrow. I had one right from the freebie from the Soul Chase, and I'll be pulling that on my champion chase video tomorrow. But I do want to very quickly talk about those 2 champions, because who you might want to choose as that. If you're pulling anyways for champion chase, right? I do think that Telena Solseer is actually pretty good, because she's basically a high elf lockout champion. And what I mean by that is this skill here, her A3. 75% chance, or 100, you want books, right? 100% chance with books of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 2, and then also cooldown of enemy skills by 2 turns. Now, this is 1 less than Fabian the Entertainer from last year's anniversary fusion event. But you do get the increased accuracy buff before she does this. So, you don't need too crazy high accuracy, because you're going to get this anyways by using the A3. Also has an all battles speed aura of 19%. In general, she's really interesting, but she's more about a poison. Beyond this skill, it's more about poisoning and what she gets out of that. So more poison debuffs on all enemies, increase allies' turn meter, but it's the passive, right? So decrease enemies' crit rate and damage by 10% for each poison debuff on them. Does not work against bosses, so she is more of a PvP based champion, but nonetheless, lockouts are very good. So if you don't have Fabian, she is a bit of a, I would say, I guess, like a kind of high elf version of this, if you will. Not as good, or a little bit different anyways, right? Not as good as Fabian, I would say personally, but nonetheless has that accuracy buff, which can really help. And lockouts at 2 turns, honestly, is pretty much the same, I would say. That's really crippling on the enemy team. Really good support character. I think she's who I'm probably going to go first with, right, to aim for if I get my mercies, or if I get a couple of lucky legendary pulls. Otherwise, we have Varkos Head Splitter. I believe, is he green? I thought he was green. Oh, he's red. He's forest. Now, he's a damage-based character. He's defense as well, which is, I like defense-based characters, but yeah, he's okay, I guess. It's all about this count. When counterattacking, attacks 3 times instead of 2 times. Attacks 2 times, ignores block damage and shield buffs. When he teams up with an ally, it'll use this skill instead. So he has the potential of doing some big damage, right? Places an increase, defense buff, counterattack, and shatter for 3 turns. And it's an extra turn. I do love extra turn skills, but his cooldowns are very high, like 6, particularly on that skill. So you definitely need books. However, he doesn't, I guess he doesn't need as many. 2, 5, 9, not as many books as some champions, anyways. So this is basically his buff skill. And then he's just doing a lot of single target damage. Ignores block damage and shield buff. So this could be quite powerful in PvE, but he doesn't have a lot of utility, right? He's very selfish. He's just buffing himself. He's not buffing anyone else. Has a 15% chance to join an attack whenever an ally attacks an enemy. 25% if that was a Dark Elf character. So if you're using like Mavara, for example, with her, you know, like this could start stacking up in terms of the damage because whenever they join, it's A2, right? So this could be really, really powerful and could stack up damage really quickly. I could see him being very good in like Demon Lord, but his ratings so far are just not very good because overall his utility is pretty poor. I would be curious about trying this out, but I don't think that he's going to have as much value as Telena. So if I had to choose between the two characters, it's probably going to be Telena, not Varkos. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are. Now, I want to talk about, because I need to do this, right? I need to do these events. I need to do the Raya's Madness tournament. I need to do Gear Hunters. So I love event dungeons because it's a faster way to get this stuff done and it's a little bit more energy efficient, if you will. So if you go to event dungeon, and actually, no matter how far you were able to get on this, and unless you really particularly want to farm pinpoint gear at one of your best event dungeon stages, it's not the most energy efficient to do that though. If you don't really care so much about that, go into event dungeon stage 3, and then I need to make sure my character's gear is equipped because I always seem to remove Tholin's gear. He is one of my, I think, my faster characters in terms of the animation. You might be able to do this. Oh my god, I'm out of inventory space. This is dire. I wonder if I actually need this or not. So if you go into Event Dungeon 3, why 3? Because that's the lowest energy cost, but the best drops. Oh my god, we can't. Oh, we actually kind of one-shot him. I need to change the gear. So if you notice that it actually has a time of 1 second. Now he is running up there and smacking, so actually it probably would be better. You know what? I'm gonna bring in Alice the Wanderer. She has pretty fast animations. I want to see if she can do this even faster. Yeah, I think there we go. That's way faster. It still said 1 second, but it was definitely shorter than 1 second because she didn't have to go up there and like attack him. So we're getting 8 tournament points for the Raya's Madness tournament. This particularly is not the best for the points on that because we're getting 8 for, it's based on star drops, right? So again, this part here is not very good, but I don't care so much about this right now. If you're trying to grind away at Gear Hunters, which is where it does matter, you are getting more points. So I spent 32 energy, right? I ran this twice and I got 34 points. It's very rare that you get a 1-to-1 or higher kind of conversion of your points. So if I want to get to this full and silver heart fragments, it's roughly about 3,700 energy. But sometimes you can actually get more than this because if you look at the event dungeon, right? Not to mention as fast as all hell, but you can get up to a 2 to 3 star drop, which doesn't sound like much, but it cuts out the 1 star, obviously, right? So it's either a 2 star or a 3 star, but for the energy that you're expending, it's actually one of the best. You're probably wondering, like, why don't you go to the 2 to the 4? It's because it jumps up to 10 energy, right? And even some of this, it jumps up to 10 energy. So this is actually not only the fastest, but it is the most point and energy efficient for you to do this. And you can just spam this over and over again. It's very easy for you to do that. The points are not super high when it comes to the Raya's event tournament. You can see this. I'm basically getting 3 or 4 points for every 8 energy. So it's about, I would say, what is that? 0.5 to 1 on that. So it's not particularly good there. And you would have to spend more energy in order to do that for the Raya's event tournament. But you can basically keep doing this over and over again until you finish the Gear Hunter specifically, because you get more points out of this. The 3-star blue drops, for example, you can see what kind of points that you're getting from 2-star and 3-star blue drops here. That starts to stack up really quickly, right? So if we score down here, you can see a 2-star blue is 7 points, a 3-star blue is 8 points, and we used what is that, 8 energy in order to do this. So you're getting one of the two here, and so this is pretty good as far as the points go, because once you start going up to the 4-star, like it doesn't, especially the blues, right? It doesn't actually change the points that much. It only goes up by 1, but you're expending way more energy in order to get to these higher star ranks. So this is actually the most efficient way for you to do this. It comes out to about a 1-to-1. But if you start doing the event dungeon 20, for most of these kind of events, they want you to do the 20 levels, like when it comes to Dragon 20 and whatnot. But you're most likely going to get a blue 5 to 6 star, right? Mostly a blue 5 star. And the point difference between the other two is just very minimal, but you're spending 16 energy per run instead of 8 energy per run. So again, not only is it fast, try to find one of your characters that has like a very fast animation that can essentially one shot the boss. She doesn't have that much hit points. So just do this with one of your best fast animation DPS champions. Do this over and over again, especially if you need to clear gear hunters. This is something that I would recommend in general because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be another gear hunters later on as well. I think there's 3 gear hunters this fusion, and this should also work as well for the July fusion event as well, because that will be around and the event dungeon will still be around for that. Just note that like once you've completed gear hunters, if you're still looking to complete the Raya's tournament specifically, this will require you to run it at a higher rate. Now, if you want to double dip for both a little bit better, then you might want to decide to do the higher stages if you're able to do that. However, if you're specifically just looking to clear gear hunters, this is the best way to do it. Yes, it is a bit of a, I think it's a bit of a cheat code. It is definitely more energy efficient, and it is better to do it this way, in my opinion, if your goal is the fusion event. And especially if you're a newer or mid-game player and you don't have a ton of resources and you haven't progressed too far in these dungeons. Anyways, that's going to be it for now. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, but maybe you've already finished this and none of this matters. But before we go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Grand Oak Padrag, Zargala, Tagor, and Farrakhan the Fat at level 10, 20, and 30. And also you can get your hands on Pelops the Victor, the legendary fusion from the anniversary event in March. And all you got to do is use the promo code RAID7 within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's it for me, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next one. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.